Hello friends, Jackie Bolhuis and Klompen Stampers. Today we're going to mix a little bit of old with a little bit of new. We're using the Forever Blossom stamp set. Now I know a lot of you have this because you picked it up when we had the new mini catalog back in January. You probably used it, you probably loved it, and then you put it on your shelf and you completely forget about it. So we're going to haul that one back out today, but we're going to mix it with some of the brand new Designer Series paper. This is my favorite paper and I think you're going to see me use it a lot. So without further ado, let's go ahead, let's flip this camera down. I'm going to make a card for you today and we're going to focus on coloring with Stampin Blends, and I have some tips to share with you. So if you haven't tried the Stampin Blends yet, or maybe you have them and you're not quite sure how to color with them, I'm going to show you the quick and easy way, because you know me, everything's quick and easy. So without further ado, let's go ahead, flip this camera down and let's get stamping. Like I said, today's card is going to use a little bit of old, okay, our Forever Blossoms, and it's not really that old, but we haven't used it in a while. And then we are going to use a piece of the In Good Taste, I believe it's called, Designer Series paper. I just want to share this little chart with you because it shows all the different prints that come in part of this paper. It's just full of texture. It looks like fabric, and we've got tile, and we have brick, couple different bricks, and we have wood. It's just a fantastic paper that you're going to be able to combine with anything for that great texture and those great backgrounds. So today we're going to use a piece of the brick. But before we start doing that, because that's really part of putting our card together, we're going to go ahead and stamp our image here. I've got the large flower from the Forever Blossoms. Now you'll notice as I ink this up, I'm doing it upside down. Bigger images like that, I tend to do upside down. I think it's a little bit easier, or use your Stamparatus. That helps a lot as well. But we're going to just ink that up really good. I've got my black memento, and then I have a piece of Whisper White scrap here. Now, this is important because we're going to color with Stampin Blends, which are an alcohol marker. Now, when you're doing that, you always want to make sure you're using your Memento Black and you're stamping on Whisper White or Whisper White Thick. Either one will work. But these three things are really designed to work together to give you the best results. So there is our image. Now, Stampin Blends, you know, there's all different ways you can color with them. They do come in sets of light and dark, and I always use them, well, almost always, together as a light and a dark. Now I've got Purple Posy here, which is kind of a fun color. There is not an ink pad for this. If you remember back when Stampin' Up! First released these new ink colors a year ago, they had issues with getting the ink right for Purple Posy. So they finally kind of gave up on it, but we do have the cardstock and we have the blends, so it's still a fabulous color. Now, when I color, and I said we're doing the Jackie Easy Color method with blends, I first like to use the light, and you can see where I colored in that flower. Now, this image helps us a lot with these blends because it's giving me the natural shading. You can see where there's the darker spots in that. So all I did then is I took my dark and I went and I kind of put some dark down where the image was showing me some dark anyway. And then I'm coming back with my light and just kind of blending those colors a little bit. And you'll be able to see how you get the variance of the shades in there of the lighter and the darker. So we're just going to, I'll do this one and then I will speed up the video so you don't have to watch me do all the coloring. But again, I'm coming back with my dark wherever there's that shading and some of those darker lines. I added some dark, and then we'll come back in here with the light and just kind of blend it out. You know, like I said, I am not an artist. I know there's people that probably color a whole lot better with the blends, but I kind of like the look I get with it. Plus, you know me, everything has to be quick and easy. Now, before I move on to finishing this up for you, we'll just do a leaf here. I've got, I think I have Granny Apple Green, and again, light. Now, you'll notice here, this time I grabbed the more bullet end of it. I think I tend to actually use the bullet side of it more so than that brush tip, unless it's a really big image. I feel like I can control it a little bit better. So really, there again, whatever seems to work best for you. Now with blends, make sure you pop that cap on. Pop, do you hear the pop? That way I push it right down on my table there. You know that those tops are on really well. So that's another little tip. And then before we finish up here, I want to also share with you what's called the color lifter. Now this is kind of an eraser. If you go out of the lines at all, and I did just a tiny bit here on the green, it appears clear, but you can go ahead and you can color right there and it will fade or make that color where you went out of the lines disappear. So you can also use it as a way, let's see, we could do it here, to put a little, like, lighten it up, I guess. So we'll just kind of go on the center of each flower here. As it dries, it will lift up some of that color and it'll make the center of those petals appear to be lighter. So that's what that's for. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and finish up my coloring and I'll be right back. And there we go. Our image is all colored. Now, next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and take the coordinating die that goes with this, and we're going to go to my die cutting machine and cut this out. Now, if you didn't have this, you could make this card just fussy cutting this image as well, but I like to do it the easy peasy way, so I'll be right back. Alrighty, now let's just pop that out of there. And I think we're ready to finish up our card and use that gorgeous designer series paper. Now, what I have here is a piece that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I am going to adhere it to a piece of Whisper White that is the exact same size. Now, you wouldn't necessarily have to do this for what I'm going to show you in a second, but I feel like, you know, designer series paper is a little thin, and we're going to actually be popping part of this up, so I wanted a little bit of stiffness to it. So that's why I put it onto the Whisper White. And now what I'm going to do is use my stitched rectangle dies. A lot of words I'm struggling to say here. And we're going to take this one and we are going to cut the center out of it. So I'm going to go back to the die cutting machine and do this. I'll be right back. There we go. So we can go ahead and pop that rectangle out of there. And then pop this piece out. I'm actually going to use both pieces, but I'm just going to show you how you can get a little bit more dimension to your card. So we're going to go ahead now and take this one, okay, the bigger size piece, and use some adhesive. And I don't know, which way do bricks go? Does it really matter? I don't think it does. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to the front of my card. I have a smoky slate card there, and we're going to just glue that down nice right alongside it, like so. So I open my card, I've got smoky slate. Now I'll show you a little tip, I guess. Quite often when we cut cardstock, we're not always perfect and right on. You'll notice I have a little bit, you know, sticking out like that. That's totally normal. What I tend to do then is just go to my paper cutter and I will just trim that off so you don't see it when it opens up. Okay, let's put our card together. Now, this piece, what I'm going to do is put dimensionals on the back. And I know I'm kind of going a little overboard. Whoops, I guess we don't really need two stuck together there. But I want because I want to make sure that this stays popped up here. So we'll just peel these off. There we go. And then I want to make sure I do it the same way. No, it's got to go that way. And I'm going to actually just stick that right back down where it came from. So I don't know if you can see on video how much dimension that really gives you, but it just pops up that panel. And then we can take our flower image here, and we're going to put quite a few dimensionals wherever we can get them to fit and not have them, you know, stick out. That's kind of sticking out there. I want to make sure that it's not showing through one of the, oh, that doesn't really show there. Okay. I think I should actually probably have some mini ones here too. There we go. That looks pretty good. So we'll peel those off. And then I'm going to go ahead and stick that onto that popped up piece. There you go. You can just see the dimension on there, and it wasn't like anything was hard. It just added a lot to that. So let's go ahead and add a bow. I really seriously think that linen bows have become my signature trait. I use them all the time if you follow me. Part of it is because I know I can tie an easy bow with it. I I love the look of ribbon, and I apologize to those of you that can tie great bows, but I can't. So I tend to use linen thread, and you can just see the difference these little things make. I mean, that looks nice like that, but let's go ahead. I tied my bow, and then I take a glue dot. I kind of roll it over so I fold it in half, and then we're going to just add our little bow right there. Look at the difference that makes by just adding that little bow. So we've done that. And you know what? At this point, I think I'm going to bring in my finished card rather than going ahead and finishing this one for you, because the rest of it is pretty easy. You can see all I did is I added a greeting here. Now you could use a greeting that you have from another stamp set or use one in here. I mean, this card at this point, you could add birthday, thinking of you, anniversary, get well, whatever. Add yourself a little greeting there. I just used one of the new banner dies from one of the new die sets. Not sure what it comes from. But speaking of that, make sure you hop on over to my website, because I will have pictures of these as well as the card recipes and list of supplies for everything that I use. So that'll help you out if you'd like to make these. So I added a greeting there, and then on the inside, I added another flower. Actually, this is still part of the big one. I just took it and just stamped a little tiny bit in the corner, colored it, and then I used some of the other greetings. So my card does use everything that's just in that. But like I said, you could put anything on this one. I do have a piece of Whisper White here with black that is ready to go on the inside of that as well. You know, don't forget to make your insides pretty. You know, we could leave it like that and just write a message there. Quite often I add just a white piece, but other times when I want to make it a really special card, I'll add some colored cardstock on the inside as well. It really does make a difference. This card was simple. Use a couple of dies, pop some stuff up. Dimensionals make all the difference in the world. So I hope you enjoyed this project. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. I am a full-time Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I would love to be your demonstrator and help you with all your card making and Stampin' Up! Needs. If you'd like to place an order, please hop over to my website. When you order from me, that helps me be able to bring you all of these videos and all the stamping tips that I love to share with you. So until I stamp with you again, have a stamp happy day.